Welcome back. It's open source. I've got Keith Grossman here. Let's talk about MoonPay. This is your latest venture. I mean, it just seems like I don't know. You build these tremendous businesses, or you repair them, or you just seem like you're one of these people that I track who's always ahead of the curve. So as soon as you went MoonPay, I'd heard of them, but I didn't know what they were. But now, I mean, it's amazing all the things that you're doing. But tell me about MoonPay.
Sure. So MoonPay is the largest fiat to crypto on ramp, off ramp in the world, right? So it has three businesses. One is what we would say is a B2B2C business, right? It's a business that if you go into Trust Wallet or MetaMask or Ledger or any of the crypto wallets out there, and you want to be able to buy crypto using your credit card or debit card, we enable that transaction. The second business is a B2C business, which is we have a MoonPay sort of account. And what that does is it ultimately allows you to aggregate all of your wallets to be able to see a holistic perspective of your earnings or ownings. And then the third is a B2B business. And that is the business that a lot of people pay attention to because it's really sexy. And that's what the team at Other Life, our Web3 creative agency, our next gen creative agency, does out of Canada, where they do creative work, they do strategy work, and then they enable you to tie it into blockchain solutions. And so we work with MasterCard and we work with Delory and we work with the digital currency groups of the world to help realize their sort of vision of evolution.
It's amazing, and I mean, you were like what, the president of Time, and then you went to MoonPay, and I was like, what? And as soon as I saw that move, I was like, well, I know there's a reason. And the more that I've looked under the hood, now I see why. And it's amazing. You've definitely made a real impact too. And you guys have just announced a bunch of new initiatives too, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I mean, like you said in the beginning, which is I'm always attracted to turnarounds, launches, saves, evolutions, right?
Mm,
Like, and that's the consistent theme and sort of Wired to Bloomberg to Time to
mhm,
MoonPay in my career, which is how do you look at the investment, right, and be able to shift it or adjust it to be able to articulate it to be able to win um, sort of what you believe is the vision of the future that you are able to impact or influence.
mhm,
Um, for me, right, like one of the reasons why I was so keen on jumping to MoonPay was a very simple sort of thing that I saw happening within the world, which was people would ask me all the time a very simple question. They would say, "Is print dead?" Right? I had Time Magazine at one point. I had Wired Magazine at one point. I had Business Week Magazine at one point, and they were all part of larger ecosystems that I was in. But they would ask me this question: Is print dead? And what I would say to people is I don't know, but what I know is that every day someone uh, is born, and every day someone dies on this planet, a new print reader is not replaced at a one-to-one ratio, right?
mhm.
And so, like when you say going from time or media into MoonPay, like it just caught you off guard. Like I'm going to give you this idea as to what did I see, which was I saw print was just this downward trend line, right? I didn't know if it was like this. I didn't know if it was like this. I didn't know if it was like this. It doesn't make a difference, but it was a downward trend line. And um, that's not to say that I feel that way about media holistically, rather just a platform in media. And that's a completely different subject. But when I look at digital ownership, right? The flip side of that equation is true. Every day that someone is born and every day that someone dies, someone who feels comfortable with digital ownership is born at a higher than one-to-one ratio. Think about that, right?
Mhm.
So now all of a sudden you have a trend line that goes like this, right? And when you then take that trend line, which is an upward facing trend line, and you put it against the backdrop of all of the misunderstanding versus the facts, you realize that it's really within this gray area where people don't understand. I apologize. I'm apparently getting a call in the middle of this, but it's
Don't
within
answer.
this.
Don't answer it, Keith.
You are way more important than that call.
Thank
Actually, it
you.
was Emily. Just joking, right?
Yeah.
No, it was but you like when you think about that, um, all the gray area against an upward facing trend line. is where you make the biggest opportunity. And so I looked at this evolution and I was like, I can't sit back and let it sort of go by. Like I want to no longer be a an observer in this
Mhm.
evolution of technology. I want to be a participant in it. I want to shape it.
What I mean, that's a mic drop, right as we get to break, dude. I don't know. It's like you're in my brain. We've got Keith Grossman here on open source.